There is 4 different levels of a way to open your energy. For myself, I was born to be hearing anything, which is called clairaudience, and seeing something through what is described mostly as a third eye, which is called clairvoyance. Later in my life, in 2006, when I decided to open my energy and work with energy, I decided I only wanted to open my third eye. I am clairvoyant. I cannot hear 98% of the time. I'm not going to go to 98% of the time I cannot hear. Sometimes I hear. If it's something that the archangels really want me to hear, they will keep repeating it until I can hear, but it is a choice of mine not to open my hearing. And specifically, as my childhood experience was traumatic sometimes, with spirits coming and going as they wanted, the hearing part was the hardest for me, and that is why I chose not to open my clairaudience side. Because sometimes I would hear the scratching under the floorboards, and then you hear 10, and then you hear 20, and it, like, people call it spirits, ghosts, I don't mind. For me, it was uncomfortable. Nobody in the house could hear it. No matter how often I asked for the light to be on, that was something I wasn't protected enough. And I can say I prayed a lot when I was young, and it did help me a lot. I am thankful that my parents raised me religiously. At the time I needed something to hold on to, and it did help me a lot. There is also Clairsentience, which is that a person just have a sense, especially if they walk into a room and they look around the crowd and they go, ooh, I don't know what that, I think I should stay away from that person. It's just a sense. You sometimes get it walking in and out of a room, into a different space, meeting people, because every person has their own energy. So we usually clash with energy or a space, or we would completely feel a different feeling when you're clairsentient. You could even feel loved. It's just a sense that you can't explain. And I mean, we have, I think, 6 senses. So you feel it with all your senses differently. And then there's claircognizance, which is a knowingness. A knowingness of something is going to happen, or something is about to happen, or you just have a feeling that there could be death, and then you get a telephone call, and a lot of people don't understand that either. I'm not claircognizant. I am clairvoyant, which is a third eye, and clairsentient, which is my senses quite often picks up energy. And I'm explaining all of this because early on, when I first saw the archangels, I started spending a lot of time, and I was incredibly lucky not to be working, and I spent a lot of time with the archangels, just sitting there, looking at them, looking at their beautiful colors and saying, right, how are we going to talk to each other? Because I'm not going to open my hearing. So we came up with a communication system where they show me everything, and it's still like that today. They show me everything in symbolism, and it's like a silent movie, and things move and change. And through the years, I've managed to learn the meanings, or I wouldn't say just manage to learn the meanings. Quite often, the other day they showed me a water lily. I would then look it up on Google, what's the meaning? And quite often, if I don't know which one of the 5 or 10 meanings that I'm supposed to take, I would just look at my phone long enough, and then it would light up the one I need to read, and then I would understand what the meaning is. In our early days, I didn't have that. So I decided to practice with the television. In the year that I first started communicating with the angels, it was the Cricket World Cup and the Rugby World Cup. So I would write envelopes with the results, and sometimes I will say something, this goes in overtime, this is a very close match. But I didn't know who the teams were, so I would only write orange shirt, green shirt, tight match, for example. And then practiced and see if what I saw, because this is now not just talking to the angels in this time period, this is moving into another time period, and then recording it and putting it away, and then after the matches open the envelopes and see if it worked. I would definitely recommend for most people learning to do what I already do now for 16 years, not to try something that difficult. And also, it doesn't help if you want to go sports betting or play the lottery. If this is for your own gain and not to develop yourself, I'm pretty sure that the information coming through would be too heavily weighed by your own need for the money or to win, and it wouldn't work.